What's going on, guys? This is No Filter, a Nintendo podcast, and here is my review for Spirit Sphere DX for the Nintendo Switch. This game comes to us from Fabraz, who is actually publishing this game. If you guys don't know Fabraz, they're actually the developers for one of the better eShop games on the Switch, Slime Song, which, by the way, is on sale right now. I highly suggest you guys pick that game up. Fantastic. It comes from Fabraz, and it's really cool to see them publishing a game now on Switch, and let's get into it. Spirit Sphere DX in basic terms can be described as a tennis/air hockey game with Zelda-inspired fantasy elements. I guess you could say like older Zelda, top-down Zelda-inspired elements. So again, basically the game is much like a sport game where you're just trying to hit the ball into the other person's end, right? But in this game, the visuals and the characters you play as and the abilities you have are all based on these fantasy characters that you have, which is actually really interesting. So basically, if you play as a character, you can play as like a mage or a sword wielder or like a cat or like a like a Viking with a large axe, and each character plays extremely differently, and that's, again, a really good thing. Whereas if you play a game like Mario Tennis, a lot of the characters are very similar. Some might have like the trick ability or speed ability, but it plays very much the same. Whereas this one, you do have the same button configurations, but the actual characters play quite a little bit different. So, for example, you play as let's just say you play as the mage. So instead of hitting the ball with a sword, you actually shoot a fireball out in front of you, and that would be the thing hitting the ball into the other person's end, right? There's another button that you can have that could then curve the ball once you hit it. It's like a special attack. There's also items that you can collect, which have like armor or speed and all this different stuff. And it's just crazy. It's a multiplayer co-op style kind of game, and it's actually a lot of fun. I love these sport games like this, and again, for the Switch, it's absolutely perfect. So again, the main basic concept of the game is very simple. However, how this game really switches it up is with different modes that you can play, and again, the very different, unique characters for each battle. So again, this game is very multiplayer focused, but you do have a campaign where you go through basically a gauntlet of 10 different battles. There's different rules for each one, different modes that you have to play, and there's 3 different difficulties for it as well. So there's a relatively significant amount of single-player content for this game, but this game really is all about the co-op or the split-screen multiplayer for the game. You also have hand-to-hand mode, which I think is one of the coolest, and the first time I've actually experienced a game like this on Switch, where basically you share the Switch. Think of it as an air hockey table or something like that. One person has one end of the Switch, one person has the other. Joy-Cons are connected, and you're just using the one Joy-Con on your side to battle the other person on the other side of the Switch. Really cool. I love these unique features that they're using in these type of games, and again, for a cheap game like this to get a different experience that you haven't played before on any system, I love these unique ideas that they implement. There's also a squash mode, which is a different variation of the game where basically you're hitting off of the one wall, and you just have to hit it to the back wall without the other person touching it, kind of a thing. There's a boss mode where you have to go through all the different bosses, which are the bosses throughout the entire game. There is a target mode, there is a practice mode, there's collectible coins that you can add to get new characters and items and stuff like that. There's a lot of different stuff, and obviously there's just the typical regular multiplayer kind of a match. You can play with computers or whatever bots. And so again, a lot of this game is about the modes. It's a very basic concept of like the tennis type game, but they add a lot to it. Stuff that you would think other games, like example Mario Tennis Aces, would have differences in that way. It's not just a typical tennis match. As far as the presentation goes, again, it looks a lot like a 8 or 16-bit kind of Zelda game in most aspects. It does have that Fabraz look to it. If you guys have played Slime Song, you'll see that it has a lot of that in here. It has a lot of the quirkiness to it. It's actually a lot of fun. Oh, and actually, here's another mode, by the way. I do remember in the options menu when you're actually playing the game, there's just a hidden mode, which reminds me, again, a lot of Slime Song, because it just fills, even in just an options menu, there's a whole different mode, which is basically like a frisbee mode, like frisbee golf kind of a thing, where you're just having to catch the frisbees as they're getting thrown out to you. Very cool. And again, the presentation wise, like the music matches everything well with how the aesthetic is, with like the fantasy RPG kind of a style to it. And again, like for a discount price like this, for a game like this, if you are looking for a good multiplayer game on Switch, this is in my opinion, a must buy. I absolutely loved it, and I still play this to this day. And but yeah, again, if you're just looking for single player only, this might not be what you're looking for. I'd say maybe wait for sale, but if you have someone to play with, I feel like this is one of the best ones you can get on the eShop right now. So yeah, take a look if you want. And again, I remind you, Slime Song is out there on sale right now, so definitely take a look if you're interested. But yeah, that's it, guys. I want to thank you guys all for watching. This has been my review for Spirit Sphere DX on Nintendo Switch, and I will see you all next time.